Hey everybody, listen, today we're going to talk about deal breakers in your career and business. There's certain conversations, there's certain environments, there's certain vibes you will get that I need you to recognize real early. When you see them, if you can't navigate them, you need to walk away from them. My name is Modesta Mahiga, and I'm coming at you from Modesta.Africa and PurposeandExcellence.Africa. Listen, have you ever just gone into an office and you just feel like, wait, either the way it looks or the way people are speaking or how they're handling customers, you're thinking, even if they were to pay me $1 million, okay, fine, maybe $1 million would kind of change the situation, but whatever it is they're about to speak to me about, I am not sure I want to transact with them. So today, I would really want you to lean in and pay attention to the situations, to the environments, to the people, to the conditions, the terms and conditions that you will hear, that you will be presented with, or allow yourself to get cornered into in your career and business that could potentially be deal breakers. So I'm going to go right into this. I'd like you to start with you before you get into an environment, before you get into a conversation, a transaction where you're wondering whether this is a go for me or is what I am feeling and the red, lights that I'm seeing and the bells that I'm hearing, whether I should really listen to them or not, which most of the time you really should. I want you to first of all start with you, and I would always ask you to start with you. Start asking yourself, why am I even here? And I don't mean here at the office, here on this table having this negotiation. I mean here on the planet. Why am I here? What's my purpose? What do I feel is the thing that I'm called to do, that I would wake up any day of the week, no matter how challenging it gets, to do this thing over and over? The reason why I ask you to start with purpose is then it allows you, quite quickly actually, to look at what is being offered you, to look at what you're about to walk into and say, does this even align with who I am and where I'm going? Second thing is your values. It is so key. If you have nothing else, even your purpose, if you have nothing else clear to you, for you to set your non-negotiable values. So what are those standards, those principles by which you say, listen, this is how I govern my life. This is how far I'll come, no further. This is how far you can come. This space you do not touch. Set your non-negotiable values, so your morals, your standards, your work ethic. These go down to basic human rights and the dignity and the respect with which we should treat each other, in a career, in a business, in a workplace, but actually even, in personal relationships. So there's certain things that you will experience and you say, that's a deal breaker. There is no negotiation. There's nothing else you and I can do together if we can't even just respect each other. If at the minimum level of human dignity, that is not working to start off with. So set your non-negotiable values, because then whatever comes your way, no matter how lucrative and amazing it sounds, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, okay, so my values are time with my family. This thing is going to erode that quick. My second prioritized value is wealth. The terms in which they're giving me, no, this is not going to help me. And I want to talk about that a little bit more when I talk about goals. Maybe another value for you is excellence, and they're doing things any which way. Another value is integrity. And what you're hearing, what you're seeing is like these people do a whole lot more under the table than they do above it. Deal breaker. Third thing is your vision. Where are you going? There are many times you get an offer. Let's talk about career. An offer that seems so good right now, especially when it seems financially good, and it looks like it will challenge you. But when you zoom out and you look at this organization and you look at their trajectory, they're not going where you want to go. Do you want to work there for just 6 months or a year and then leave? Or do you want to be in a place where you can see yourself grow, where you can see them looking to grow and have impact? Or some organizations, and I don't know about you, but I go for what is for purpose. Even if it is for profit, it's also for purpose. Do they actually mean to make impact? Are they looking to do responsible business? Or is it just bottom line, that does not consider people, that does not consider the environment? And so you say, nah, if it's not on those terms, deal breaker, I'm out. Fourth thing is your mission. How exactly do you want to get to where you want to go with your vision, right? So your vision is what you want to do who you want to do it for, even if it's an organization, right? Who do you want to do it for, and with what results at the end? And your mission says, so how exactly do you want to do it? And sometimes people just clash on mission. The approach that you want to take to get to where you want to go is not the approach they're taking. And it doesn't mean that, this whole video isn't about getting life on my terms, and if I don't get life on my terms, I'm out. No, that's immaturity, and I would never, you will never see me in any of the videos, anything I've written, any course I have, to tell you to be an immature baby going out there saying, if I don't get life on my terms, then I'm out, because I wouldn't even want to work with people like that. But I am saying that you've looked at, honestly, think of it this way: every single second you spend anywhere having a conversation with anybody, doing anything together, is the seconds of your life invested that you're never going to get back. Is a second of your lives gone. So either they come back with returns, and those returns are personal, and yes, it is okay to expect personal returns of investment. Returns come in, what you're doing is actually meaningful, and it adds value to the, to the industry, to the people, to the organizations that it serves, and wider impact in the ecosystem that organization, that venture, that partnership exists in. So if you feel like, no, our missions, they want to approach this differently. I don't know why. I guess because of the, the time that we're in right now, there are people who would want to go, I'm talking about protests now, or want to advocating for justice. There are people who go the violent route. There are people who go the negotiating route. There are people who, so there are many ways to go about getting supposedly the same result, and you're not just going to look at the end, you're going to question the means to an end. And when it comes to mission, if you feel that the means, whoever it is that you're having conversation with about your career, about business, about impact, if you feel that the means that they approach to get to those ends do not align with you, it's a deal breaker. Why bother engaging in something that will not go far? Because you're not aligned to start off with. And unless two agree, they're not walking anywhere together. And then the fifth thing is goals. It is so important. And listen, remember in another video, I did a video a week ago. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting now what that video was about. Forgive me, but this is what I want to say. That it is key for you to first of all know your personal goals, your professional goals, your financial goals, your impact goals. Before you engage with the outside world, before you engage with anybody else, you first of all need to know where you're going, right? That's why I did purpose, values, vision, mission, and goals. You need to have a metric, a measurement of sorts of what it is you look to achieve. So personally, what am I looking for? And your values help you a lot in your personal goals. Professionally, where do I want to get to by when? Whether it's a certification, whether it's a position, a level that you want to reach, whether it is influence you'd like to have in your industry, whether you want to break out from one local market and you want to go, go into other markets in the same country or other countries, you want to go global. All of that will help you then have perspective. When you come to negotiating, when you come to discussing, when you come to looking to partner with others, well, does this even align? Does this meet me anywhere towards where I want to go? Does this align with what I want? Because this is what I've noticed a lot of people do. They have their dream and their plans and their goals. Then they shut the book, whatever the app, wherever it is they put it, and then they go out to the world transacting with people in their career and the businesses, agreeing to things that have nothing, not only have they nothing to do with their goals, they actually go against their goals. If you have specific income goals, for instance, you have specific targets that you want to reach, if you will not look to make sure that when you're transacting daily as a business person, that you're looking at the revenue targets that would allow you to have those personal goals, or that will allow your business to thrive. If you're not looking at growth potential for the career, the organization that you want to work in that aligns with your career trajectory, so you are daily doing things that are taking you further and further away from your personal, professional, financial impact goals. Now you might get to a place where you're like, listen, Modesta, I don't even have them. I guess this is why I keep on getting into compromising situations, and I wonder if the whole world is rotten. Let me tell you this about the world. Well, the world is rotten. Well, that it is. But you can create your world by design and then live in it. And the way to do that is to be deliberate, to be intentional to start off with. So many times, ooh, I'm about to choke, don't even have water. Many times we get ourselves in situations, excuse me, and then later regret it, later start pointing out the colleagues that are doing things we don't like. Later start pointing out the managers, later start pointing out how ever since management changed, ever since we cut down costs, start pointing out, well, since this partner came in, the business was fine until they showed up, or since this changes, but wait a second, you should have thought it through before you agreed. You should have already set your own standards so that when anything external comes in, you are assessing it, you are comparing it, you are interpreting it from what you had already set. And if it looks like it's deviating, now there's room for negotiation, but at least you have a baseline from which you have those conversations. So what then, what kind of deals do you have before you? I want you to think this through. First of all, you need to already set standards for your life, right? What is my purpose, my values, my vision, my mission, and these personal, professional, financial impact goals? Who am I? Where am I going? On what terms? And what am I expecting to achieve along the way? Have that very clear so that each time you're having any conversation about anything at all, whether there is monetary implications or not, you already know how you invest your time, your energy, your finances, your resources, your relationship capital towards. So then the other thing is, I want you to think of what kind of situations, what kind of deals I need to look out for. At which point in my career, in my business, can I see it as a deal, as a negotiation, as an opportunity to really evaluate whether I'm in or not? So for instance, if you're looking to get engaged somewhere, and I often say that instead of saying you're looking for a job, just sounds, speaking to leaders, most people executive, mid to senior management, it sounds kind of insulting. But yeah, let's say you're looking to engage with an organization. When you consider the position, go through your purpose, values, vision, mission, goals. Personal, professional, financial, impact. Do not compromise. It is so key for you to already have those down, to have the clarity on that, to have the measurement on that, to have your very specific goals, financial and otherwise, on that. So when you consider this position, you're going to consider, how does this, grow? How will I grow in this role? Grow personally, professionally, grow in character, in skill, financially, in terms of career trajectory. Is this taking me to where I want to go? I want you to look at the culture, because maybe the position in itself looks like it's good, it sounds right. And then you zoom out, you look at the culture, and you're thinking the position sounds just amazing, and I would love to work with this organization in this capacity. But looking at the culture in this organization, I am just not sure as to whether I will thrive here. And it is not enough for you to get the right position if you will end up dreading, hating every single day working there. So you want to look at the culture as well and see whether you would thrive. And an easy way to look at the culture is just watch how people are engaging with each other, but also watch how people engage with clients that come in. Maybe it's suppliers, maybe it's cleaners. Just watch how people are speaking, treating others, and that gives you a hint of the culture. So don't get so, all rosy-eyed about the position without looking at the culture. And also look at growth potential. I've had a lot of people say there was nowhere I was going to go in that organization. It was whether it's a small organization or the structure is such that there are people in those positions that are not moving anytime soon. There was no place for me to go in my career. I remember somebody once saying this at an interview a decade or so ago. They said, Modesta, I cannot get into another position there unless somebody dies. I was like, oh my goodness, God forbid. That's what you're waiting for somebody to die. How about we look at what it would take for you to, reposition yourself, whether you're going to look at serving in a different department, or if it's a deal breaker, leaving, walking away and going to a place where you can have growth, if growth is what you seek. So you're also looking at culture, you're looking at the environment, and environment I actually also mean physically. Like physically it is clean, it is like air ventilates, well, whatever it is that you're looking for, and maybe you're not necessarily looking for the poshest of the posh, but you really want to have a place where you don't feel like it's a health hazard for you to work in. So look at that as well. Look at proximity to where you live. There's so many things that later, once you're in a situation, all of a sudden they're little nagging conditions, and they're things that, had you thought them through earlier, would have been a deal breaker for you, or would have been an opportunity for you to note down for negotiation in some way. And apart from, and I was going to mention compensation, I think I've spoken about that, but let me just put that in a little bit more. Please interrogate the compensation. Don't just look at the gross figure. And many times we have things that are shared with us in gross. Look at what your net will be. Look at what your benefits will be. Just really look at your compensation and benefits package before you sign on the dotted line. Because all of a sudden, oh, wait a second, I didn't realize that sum was this, and that there were these deductions, and that this organization does this. Oh, this organization does not, contribute towards that. So now I have to, or, oh, wait, it only covers me, it doesn't cover my family, but I came from a context that my entire family was covered in health or life or whatever it is. Please think it through. And I don't mean just think. I'd like you to, and we're going to go into those details in a minute. You're going to read the fine print, you're going to take notes, and you're going to ask questions so that you can make sure that if you thought what was a deal breaker had a question mark, and after conversation, after comments and contributions, if it's still the same way, it's not going to get better. Don't get so desperate, and I'm really going to emphasize this at the end, don't get so desperate for an opportunity that you compromise your entire life and that of your family simply because this is what I have on the table at the moment. And we'll talk a little bit more. What do you do, Modesta, if I'm already in a situation? What do you do, Modesta, if that is the only thing I have at the moment, and I don't have alternatives? What do you do then? I'm going to get back to that. And then what if it's business? What do you do in contexts where you have contracts that really squeeze you as a consultant, as a supplier, as a partner? Write down the details. Please, people, let's read. Write down the details of what that contract, what those terms and conditions are, and also capture them given your personal purpose, values, vision, mission, goals, right? And here include the goals of your business as well. What then would you like? It's one thing to say, I'm not happy with that. Okay, so what would make you happy? What do you propose instead? And of course, when you're talking about what it is you want, consider them as well. Have them in mind. What would be a rebuttal? What would be, what would they come back to you with to say, okay, we hear this, but what about this? Think of their counter proposals as well, even as you're proposing yours, so that, you're not doing a lot of back and forth, so that it doesn't sound like you're just thinking, one way, which of course they were when they gave you a contract that really is not good terms. And don't get worked up by people saying, oh, this is what we do with everybody. Well, I'm not everybody, and my business isn't every other business. I am a person, individual, unique, and my business is different, separate from all the rest. So to say, oh, this is just a standard, agreement we do with everybody. Well, standard will have to be tailored, because this is what I'm offering. These are the terms I would like you to consider, and you can also anticipate what they would come back with as a counter proposal, and propose to them what you would, what they could benefit in these new terms that you're proposing. There are times you get into situations where somebody says, well, unless you bribe, or if you want to do this, then you also have to work with these people, whether it's nepotism or they're just trying to bring in their friends, bring in their family. Deal breaker, no. You're not going to take on people who cannot deliver simply because you're just so desperate you want your business to get this contract. No, you are not. So that's a deal breaker. Walk away now, or you're going to take on people and you're going to start giving a little bit, and then there'll be a little bit more asked, or at some point, that comes to light and your business is done for. There's your reputation, there's your brand, there's your name. Or, people keep coming back for more, making more demands, making higher asks. It's a deal breaker from the start. Sometimes it could be, you want to get finances or, funding, and the terms in which they want to do that, whether it's the interest rates, whether it's a payment period, or whatever it is, you're thinking that does not make sense for business. Or an investor comes in and says, okay, so the strategy here is to exit you. And you think, but I didn't want to exit. Or the strategy here, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our management sits in very critical positions. So finance and this and that, that's going to have our people. And you say, wait a second, your people may not understand this context. If I do that, we're going to lose something here. Don't just say, okay, because, it comes with money. You really have to consider what this organization is, what your business is, where it's going, who it's serving, and what is your comparative advantage? What is your competitive advantage? What do you have, and why do people? What is your value proposition? Why does the market so love what you have to give? That should you do things differently internally, should you have different people entertain a different culture, you could lose it. And then negotiate. So before you walk away from what look like potential deal breakers, come in with negotiating terms that you see would work for both. Because this is what I speak and I believe. You do want to make progress, right? I mean, we're not sitting here to just scream out, these are our rights, and no, I don't want that, and how could you do that? We're not doing that. Whatever it is, even when you see a deal breaker, you want to look at whether you can, there's some things that are non-negotiable, right? Like, no respect for human rights, no, that's a non-negotiable. Treating other people wrongly, treating maybe lesser, people who they deem as lesser in position, in age, or whatever it is than you, or socioeconomically, or race, for that matter, obviously, that's a deal breaker. But there's some things that even if it looks initially as a potential deal breaker, you could renegotiate. So look out for that, because at the end of the day, what you want to do is to get into a position, is to get that promotion, is to position yourself in industry. You do want your business to get that contract, and you do want it to, to deliver successfully. But any points where you see could be potential deal breakers, look to negotiate them. And if you cannot at all, reach a compromise that is of mutual benefit, then of course walk away. And I also had culture here as well. Sometimes we don't think about that when we're working with other businesses, but you get into a merger with a business with a different culture from yours, and all the people and all the way they do things come in with yours, you could lose your very loyal, very good people very fast because you just partnered with the wrong people. With the wrong organization, the wrong culture. So whether it is partnership, whether it is your supplier, whether it is, whatever stakeholders you have around you, you need to really look at who you're about to engage so as not to compromise what it is that you're about. And if it's a question of values, and these are your priority, and I honestly say, get your 5 non-negotiable values in the order of priority in which you value them. And if any of these 5 are being touched, then it's probably it's a non-starter, it's a deal breaker. So then what do you do to navigate situations where you've got alarm bells, you're seeing red, but you're like, I just want to make sure, because I may have my bias, I may not see, I may not know the whole story, I may not see the entire picture. So let me point out the areas where I feel as if this would compromise where I want to go in my career. It's not a place I want to show up for 6 months, realize it's bad, it's not going to work for me, and I leave. I don't want to waste my time. I certainly don't want to waste theirs, and I certainly don't want to waste my, my professional profile, because you would. Or it could be in a business context. I cannot afford my people to be exposed to certain environments, and I have many a times made decisions because of what it would do to the culture and the camaraderie and the friendship that we have in the organization. Or it could be that it's going to be terms, honestly, that if I accept, would kill the business. Now, what do you do to negotiate when you see potential deal breakers? Number one, get clarity of purpose. You need to be clear about you. Who you are, where you're going, on what terms, how you want to get there, and what goals you have to make sure that you're on track. So that when you see this, you're going to negotiate with your personal and business organization goals in mind, and values, of course. Number 2 is your personal brand. Listen, we teach people how to treat us. So if you're not intentional about creating the image or impression you want others to have of you, and you go in any which way, you treat yourself any which way, you prepare all shoddily, you perform any which way, you present yourself as if you are not where you want to be esteemed at, don't be surprised if somebody offers you a fee, a salary package, or conditions that are less than. Don't get insulted. You're presenting yourself in a way that people feel like, oh, well, they're not much, they're not worth much, they're not going to say much, they're not going to object to this, they're desperate. So whoever you want to become, okay, whoever you want to become, whatever you want your organization to be and do and reflect, to as far as you can with the resources you currently have, please don't break the bank for this. Start esteeming yourself, start speaking, start dressing, start acting. And I don't mean act putting on a show, I mean actually becoming those things now. And other people will see that and they will learn, look, he means business. Look, she is serious about who she is and where she is going. And they will make, well, you know how these organizations say, oh no, those are terms, that's our salary structure, and that's our pay grade, and this is that and the other, and we do the, they will make exceptions. And I know of people and organizations that have had exceptions made for them, and you wonder why them? Because they know exactly who they are, where they're going, on what terms, how they want to get there, and how they want to be compensated, and they do not compromise. Now, it doesn't mean you don't negotiate, of course you do, but you already set what is an acceptable compromise for you. When I say compromise, I don't mean going for less than quality, less than respect. I don't mean that compromise. What I mean is a negotiation where you can meet each other at a point where it would be of mutual benefit. Number 3, define the terms and conditions that you do want to operate on. And I spoke about that before. So look at what you're signing up for and the terms in which you're signing up for, and then propose what you would rather sign up for. Propose the places that are amended. You cannot say the whole contract is off. Point out the elements. You guys know the sandwich method. So you start out with what is good with the contract. You come in in the middle with, wait a second. So the filler is, so these areas, and stay professional, stay neutral, stick to the terms, which is why it's important to have things written down than just having conversations. Stick to the terms in which you've agreed. Say this area, this, section, this, subsection, this, point A, this one, I was wondering if we could do this, or I had an idea that we could do this differently, and this one looks to us like this. I would like this to be rephrased this way. Be specific. Specifically read through and understand. If somebody says something to you verbally, ask them to please put it in black and white. Ask them to type it, email it, something you need to have some evidence, follow a thread of what was said and what was promised. And then you also get into the details of what works and what doesn't work for you. Number 4, please be consistent in enforcing that which you want. And it goes to personal branding. It also goes to the terms that you just say you want. If you one day uphold it, another day you don't, one day you keep your word, one day you're like, oh, okay, fine, just today, have it your way, another day, then people are like, she's really not that solid on it. I mean, he's not that rigid. I mean, I'm sure if we did this and apologize, that would be fine. Or I'm sure, they wouldn't mind getting this done. No, be very consistent. And anytime there is a deviation, anytime there's misunderstanding, misdirection, somebody's going, flag it up, call for a meeting, have a conversation, quickly get back on track. Show that you've noticed that things are not going the way you had agreed. Address that, allow them to explain, what is really happening, what's not happening, or why they've had to do that. Have things written down. If there is material changes, there are material change being made towards what you had agreed, have that as an addendum to the contract, have that written in, addressed formally, so that you can agree on the way forward. Don't have the old contract, and that's what you go by officially, and then things in practice are done differently, deal-breaking things done differently, and legally all you have is the old way. Anything that is material that comes up that is going to be changed, have that in black and white or do not stand for it. And then number 5, have then very specific, and I mentioned this before, very specific markers to you, very specific indicators, whether it is pecuniary, financial, whether it's just qualitative, the environment you're in, etc. Indicators that say, you see this, deal breaker out, or deal breaker negotiate, deal breaker flag it up. If you're not going to have that very specific, you will just be in a way where you feel wrong, you feel resentful, you're dragging your feet, you feel it's unfair, and you're just going by feelings which are not going to take you anywhere. You're still, even if you're dragging your feet, you're still performing on this contract, you're still in this partnership. So, but when you get very specific, you can flag up specific things to be addressed. Now, I want to talk about people who already are in situations and you're thinking, I have been in that for years, Modesta, I need out. Please don't leave today, but start working on a plan on addressing the issue, even if you've been in it for a long time. But you first of all need to be very clear about who you are and where you're going and on what terms you want to get there and what are some of the goals that you have, so that when you come to addressing it, you can have that in mind. Or you bring out your old contract, blow on it, dust it off and say, okay, so this is the terms in which it came, things have evolved, this is where we are right now, I wanted us to have a conversation about that. It is so key that you do that. If you are just about to get into something and thinking about this, I am desperate, especially, it's a job or it's a business that, it's a contract that my business has, we have no other way, we need money or we're going bust. Now, Modesta, I can get gangster. I would walk away. I would walk away and I don't have a plan B. Why? Because I have faith in God. That God will bring something through. But listen, I'm not going to ask everybody to be all, gang-ho, whatever, yeah, you can't threaten me, because you will go broke, because you will lose your home and you will go hungry. So instead, you can look at, okay, if you can, you've written down what it is that you want on what terms, negotiate, and negotiate confidently, negotiate boldly, negotiate understanding. You are bringing something to the table. This isn't charity. You're bringing something to the table. You're bringing something of great value. This is why personal branding is so key. Something of great value to the table in exchange for remuneration, in exchange for whatever it is that you've agreed to transact on. But should that not work and you still want to go ahead with it, you need to give yourself a finite time and give them a finite time. I'm in this and I'm in this for this while, or I'd like to do this, and a voice in my head, or just tell them, just do it and then leave when you're ready to. And you know what? Do it and leave when you're ready to. But always have a plan. Even if you're not happy with your job, even if you're not happy with a contract that you have, and you're supplying something, or you're in a partnership in business with an organization or individuals that you're no longer comfortable, it's no longer tenable for you, you still need to know who you are, where you want to go, what your business stands for, and what its value proposition is, and how it can distinguish itself to your very unique niche, I say niche, right? You need to know that, because otherwise, if you don't, you will go and land in a similar situation and you wonder, my goodness, everywhere I go, I keep meeting the same people. I keep meeting the same, types of organizations. No. It's you who has flappable boundaries. Anything can come in, go out, you just take any old thing, present yourself in any old way. It is you that is compromising your opportunities. It is not them. You won't land around people like that. You won't land, you won't get to the hands of organizations like that if you were very clear about who you are and where you want to go and what terms. What else do I have here? So my last sentence was, look, have faith in God, that there's more in you to create the world that you want to live in. Not only is there more, me saying to you, there are other organizations that you work with, you don't have to get stuck with this one. There are other people you can work with, you don't have to compromise and be in this situation. That is true. There's definitely more in this world for you, but this is it, and this is what I live for. This is what I pray everybody gets whenever they're in my presence, whether it's these videos, whether you're taking a course, whether it's a blog, or we meet in person. There is more in you to create the world that you want to live in. The perfect position that you want, it's in you. You rebrand, you reposition, you treat you like what you want to become, and you will be that. And that opportunity that resembles that, that resonates with that, will show up. You so esteem your organization and operate it and present it to the market in the way that you want it to be received, the way you want your business and your products and your services priced, and you will meet the people who can pay for that. You're not called to everybody. You're not going to, meet and serve everybody. But you need to be very clear about who you are and who you want to speak to. And so present yourself. Create the world, create your customer, create your client, create the organization that you would love to engage with. And they will show up. Why? Because you did it first. So we do not do life looking out to see who can help, who can do, who else looks like that. We do life by so living, understanding, respecting, by being so clear about who we are, why we're here, where we want to go, and what terms, and going out daily, consistently, living up to that. And the world will take notice. And only those that are worthy, listen, even if you don't have a job right now, you do not have 1 shilling, you do not have $1. Know the value that you have, so that only those that are worthy of being in your presence, of having you invest your time, your skill sets, your experience in their organization will have access to you. Only the partners, only the industries, only the organizations that are worthy of engaging with your business will have access to you. Never cheapen yourself. Never undervalue yourself, no matter what you are going through. Hold yourself in the regard that you would like other people to hold yourself. Hold yourself in the regard of the person you want to become and the impact that you want to have. And I am telling you, once you have created that world within, that will reflect outside, and that is what it will attract. I'm not talking about law of attraction here, people. I'm just talking about understanding the brilliance, the greatness in which God created you, and the purpose for which you came to fulfill, and the rest of the world will resonate. They have no choice but to recognize what you have to bring to the table of great value, which, side note, is you better be a person that delivers, a person that performs. Like, you cannot not be that and then talk about it, who needs to bow down to me and to negotiate with me. That's like a minimum that I'm just saying it as a side note. You need to be a person of value, integrity, professionalism, excellence. You say what you do and you do what you say. I mean, you just check out in every way. And then esteem yourself such as that, no matter what the situation is. And do not compromise. Deal breakers show up in your career or business. Take note. If it's about your values, that's a non-starter. You just, no matter how lucrative it is, you're not doing that. You're not compromising your moral standards. But if it's going to be, technicalities of terms and times and time frames and rates and whatever, you can do that. Don't walk away, oh, I can't take this contract, or I can't take these terms, or you're asking me to do this. Just shut yourself up for a minute. Keep quiet, write down what you're not happy with, and then show up and negotiate. Look at how you can navigate that. But if that cannot be done, walk away knowing that I can continue building myself up to a point where these are exactly the types of things that come to me. Should anything less come to me and I open my mouth to say, no, this is not the terms, will do it, those people will see my value, my contribution to them, and they will agree, to meet somewhere where it is of mutual benefit. All right, guys, I love you. I love doing these things with you. Please let me know that whether this video has been of value, but especially share with me contexts that you're currently in that you think are deal breakers, and you want my input on how you can navigate them, or you want my input how you can actually exit them. This is also my opportunity to do the very last call for the master plan class. So this week I started off with one-on-ones. You still have time. Should you want to be very clear about who you are, where you're going, and on what terms, and set some personal, professional, financial, and impact goals, and position in your market, in your industry, position your personal brand and distinguish how you perform, how you present yourself, distinguish how you are esteemed by peers, by something else that I'd forgotten to say is even managers. There are times everything else could be right, but you're looking at the person you're going to work with and you think that's going nowhere fast. Whether they have insecurities or they just have personal things that you see will be a problem. It could be racism, it could be gender. Then you might want to consider that could be a deal breaker for you. I don't know your disposition. But I want you to also consider how you want to position yourself. And if you're not clear about that right now, I invite you to join the Master Plan class. So you can go to purposeandexcellence.africa/masterplan and register. We are officially starting next week with the group coaching, but you have room to have the one-on-one to understand who you are, why you feel you need support in your career or business, where you'd like to go if you're not clear about your goals, but you have at least a personal, maybe it could be financial freedom, maybe it could be I want to have peace, maybe it could be I want to so structure my work life that I have time for my family, or it could be that I want to get to a certain place in these years' time and I'd like to know what it would take for me to get, to position myself for that promotion, to position myself for that certification, to position myself to be in that position of influence. Do connect with me. So you can leave a comment, but I would urge you to go to, to go to purposeandexcellence.africa/masterplan. I'm actually also going to put this on the link below and register so you can start that journey. All right, guys, that was a deal breaker video. I hope you can now identify, learn to navigate, and where need be, walk away from career and business situations that compromise who you are and where you want to go and on what terms you want to get there. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to getting your comments on potential deal breakers you're in right now, and where you want me to come in and help you think through, strategize how to navigate them. Take care. Much love from me. Bye.